Now as we look back at some of the passionate fans we came across this year throughout the Game of the Week program. Now Matt, throughout this year, you along with Dave Chudowski, Mark Munch Bishop, and Mike Snyder each nominated games every week, and from there we've got quite a few that have made the playoffs. We wanted to turn to you guys to get your thoughts on what we can expect moving forward this postseason.
First and foremost, what you can expect is a great opportunity for all these teams to make a good run at the postseason championship. A lot of teams still have some things to prove. A lot of teams are established, and it'll be nice to see which ones can hold court and which oones can pull a couple upsets.
Why don't we start our week one matchup, Mentor St. Ed's. Mentor Cardinals start out the season a little slow, but they play a lot of tough competition, end up 7-3, rematch against the Eagles. This should be very interesting.
This will be one of the more intriguing week one matchups in the playoffs. You're looking at a Mentor team, like you said, started slow, found their rhythm. This is a team that goes into their regular season schedule with the purpose of playing non-conference games against competition that will get them ready for a postseason run. We've seen it in countless years. Steve Trevisano does a nice job to get those guys ready and rolling by week 11. Then you're looking at the St. Edward Eagles. They have an offense that puts up points. They were an outstanding offense all season long and are coming off of a very emotional win over their arch rival, the St. Ignatius Wildcats, in the Holy War in week 10.
Go to Division II, Olmsted Falls, a team very similar to Mentor. Starts out slow, rebounds, finishes 7-3. I don't want to call this a trap game, but they're facing a Cleveland JFK team that first year in the playoffs. I think they have to be careful.
This is a very important game for both teams. Like you said, John F. Kennedy, first time in the playoffs. They want to make a good showing. They're going up against a tradition-laden Olmsted Falls program, already with one state championship trophy in their trophy case this decade. They're looking to add on to that. But with John F. Kennedy, you're going to get a fast team that's used to playing very good competition in the Cleveland Senate League. They get a matchup with Glenville every year. Glenville's a traditional power across Northeast Ohio, really does a good job to build up that program, and the Senate League teams are starting to catch up to them in terms of talent, in terms of playoff appearances, so that's nice to see. Olmsted Falls played a really tough schedule, struggled out of the gate with a loss to Padua, who's a team that ended up being the #1 overall seed in their region, with the likes of Akron, Buchtel, and Youngstown Cardinal Mooney, so you know you've got a lot of experience there. This will be a game to watch. This is going to be one of the more fun games in Week 11.
And let's give props to John F. Kennedy. You know, the first time ever making the playoffs, only the 4th Senate League team ever to get in, so there's something to be said for them.
You always like seeing schools who've never gotten to the playoffs before get in and make a nice little run, and this will be great for morale across the Senate League. Like I said, Glenville is the team that's been carrying the banner for that league for many years now, and with John F. Kennedy getting in the playoffs, this could hopefully open doors for other teams to get in. And John F. Kennedy had to win their way in. This was not a gift for them. They didn't just coast in. They had to win and get some help in week 10. They got past Rhodes High School, got the help they needed, and claimed a #6 seed in that bracket, and that is a difficult region to get a #6 seed in.
Perhaps one of the toughest roads to hoe for the team that we covered, Perry High School. They've run into some injury issues. Their quarterback, Mitchell Hokovar, out with mono the last 4 weeks of the season. They're going up against an Akron-Manchester team that's 10-0. This is going to be tough for Perry.
You know, the key for Perry in this game is to stop the run. Manchester knows how to run the football, and they know how to run the football well. They're not the biggest guys in the world. They are a smaller school in terms of not only numbers of players and enrollment, but also physical size. So if Manchester controls the running game, Perry's in trouble. If Perry can find a way to use their size at the line of scrimmage to control the tempo of the game, it'll be a much better opportunity for the Perry Pirates to get a W.
And like we saw from Perry, they've played without Mitchell for the last 4 weeks of the season. Still were able to fight their way into the playoffs, so we can't completely write them off.
They did not have an easy road to go, as they had a hard time getting to the playoffs, but I always say that the most difficult team to play in the playoffs and to prepare for is the team that had to fight their way in, and Perry definitely finds themselves in the category of fighter.
Back in week 3, we covered Independence High School. They're loaded with talent. They're in that tough Chagrin Valley Conference. They've got a tough foe in Kirtland, 10-0. I think with their quarterback, Sam Streeter, they've definitely got a chance to stay in this ball game, but everything's going to have to go their way.
Independence has a great quarterback, but the key is for Streeter to get the 10 other guys in the huddle to play well with him. His line has to give him time to throw the football, to go through his progressions and all that, and they also have to clear some holes for running lanes. If they don't create running lanes, it's going to be very difficult for this Independence team to pass the football. And that being said, you know, you have to run and pass, have to have that good balance, but you have to be able to control the line of scrimmage. If you don't, it's going to make it very difficult for your team to advance in the postseason.
Well, Matt, as we saw last week, Week 10, Larry Laird had his team ready to play against Brunswick. First time in 12 years they beat the Blue Devils, so one thing's for certain, they'll be ready to go.
And it'll be nice to see what this Medina team can do when they get their chance to go down to Canton and Fossa Stadium, play under that playoff atmosphere.
Absolutely. We had a chance to catch up with some of our other panel members to get their thoughts on who people should watch out for this playoff season.
Let me tell you this, you want to talk about tough guys. I want Todd Phillips on my side in a fight, okay? And other than that, what can you say? They emulate his discipline at Maple Heights. Now, you flash back last year to Winton Woods. When I saw Winton Woods linebackers as fast as Shaq Washington, I'm saying they've got real trouble. But something this year people haven't talked about. A, Maple Heights rocking and rolling without Shaq. B, Shaq coming in and the machine's even more finely tuned. But C, the Maple Heights defense this year. They go and get you. The defense much improved from last year. Sure, you had Llewellyn, some of the big guys on D last year, but this defense is as good as they get. You know, I could roll right down and look at Cuyahoga Heights and a lot of the other great teams in the area that have made the playoffs. I've got to go back to the Menor Cardinals. Mainly, they played the best of the best. They were done. They were on the ropes already. They were ready to take a standing 8 count and lose the bout, lose the match. They came roaring back with wins, knowing their backs were to the wall. They've got great defensive players too. They've got heady quarterbacks. You notice I said 2. Trubisky, the sophomore. Colton Wallace, who I love. Boy, Colton Wallace comes in, things just happen on the ground more than ever. And Caress, and I mentioned the tough defenders. This is a team that I'm going to keep my eyes on from the get-go.
When I look at Chagrin Falls, they had a great year last year, and then they went all the way to the finals. They've got people back this year. If they're healthy going, I know they've got a key player that's had a little injury problem, Mark Geraci, but they're 9-1. They got some experience. I think certainly they are a team to reckon with. I think a very balanced attack this year. They can run, they can throw, and that's what you need, I think, as you get to this time of year. You got to be able to play it both ways. I like Chagrin Falls' chances of making another long run this year. Well, I think Maple Heights is always a team that people kind of forget about. They can be very good, and now they've got a tough division with Lake Catholic. I think another team maybe also that was as good as they are, and they had that great opening win over Ignatius, which maybe wasn't as great as Ignatius had this rough season. But I'll keep an eye on Maple Heights and Lake Catholic. One of those two teams I think they're going to do us proud.
Once again, we want to thank everyone from the schools, the coaches and athletes, the communities, everyone who got online and voted each and every week. Matt, this was a blast, and I cannot wait for the playoffs to start.
It is going to be a fun time, Matt. You look and you have 5 weeks to leave a legacy, but you can never take the step in front of you for granted. It's week by week in the playoffs. There is no tomorrow when you lose, so you better make sure that you come ready to play each and every night. Looking forward to it.
Well, fans, we'll be here throughout the playoffs, so be sure to log on to clevelandbrowns.com and submit your vote for the playoff matchup you want to see. Along with Matt Ford-Jancic, I'm Matt Junker for clevelandbrowns.com.
I want all you guys to promise to us seniors that these last 5 games we're going to remember, all right, boys?
This isn't just a game. This is the game.
50 guys in this room, plus your coaches, believe in you. Yes, sir. Believe in you. Every time you take the field here, it's our turf. We don't want them going home with our turf. You understand that? Yes, sir. Do you believe?